Well, after a week off, hello again, everybody. Welcome back. I am Gary Gatto, the voice of the FIS, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting's coverage of Round 4 of Season 1 of the Porsche Super Series in support of the FIS, coming to you from one of the greatest and the most longest established, prestigious road courses in all the United States due to its endurance racing history, Sebring International Raceway. Qualifying is complete. About 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in warm-ups. We will get to our starting lineups just momentarily. Right now, it is just me in the booth for the PSS. Stevie is still overcoming his hangover from the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. So he'll be with us for the IndyCar race main event. But the undercard is just me tonight. 30 minutes of Porsche Super Cup racing here. And here are the Porsche points. That's the schedule, Gary. Now there you see we are Sebring round 4. We go to Laguna Seca next, Sachsenring, Spa, VIR, and we'll wrap up around 9 in Atlanta. There are the points. Don Zavadil just dominating. He's swept all races so far. To be honest, I expect more of the same today. Sam McDougall second, Bacon in third. James Watson driving to survive has brought him up in the fourth. Ryan Thomas fifth. Sanders Gavin there is in sixth. Solwedge in seventh. Short in eighth. Knoll ninth, and Nate Siefer in 10th. And as your Porsche Super Series coming out of Italy 2 weeks ago. There are your weather conditions on the screen. 84 degrees ambient, 92 degrees track temperature. Not sure how it's going to impact tires on these cars. We'll watch. I don't know if we're going to get any rain or not either. It is Florida. You know, wait 5 minutes and the weather changes in Florida. That's how typically it is. All right. And let's get in today's starting grid here. Be helpful if I had the music queued up. Might not get that. We might not get it done in time. Here we go. All right, there we go. On the pole, Sam McDougall. Zelenka second. We got Nolan Short on row 2. Watson and Thomas row 3. Dubois and Begley on row 4. And Zavadil starting from row 5. Going to do the worst for first. Getting ready to go green. There we go. 30 minutes of racing. Zavadil picks up 3 spots before even getting to turn 1. Looking at another spot on the inside. Meanwhile, up front, let's get the grid off there. There we go. It is Zelenka, your leader. McDougall second. Short in third. Knoll fourth. And Ryan Thomas and Zavadil in that battle as they head down to one of the big passing zones here at Sebring. And we're going to go forcing him way to the inside between Zavadil and Thomas. Zavadil gets around. Let's get off the B-roll, Gary. There we go. And but while we get situated here, do want to replay that start for you. There's that jump that I was talking about with Zavadil. Look at him to the inside. 3 cars already there. And then he starts attacking Thomas right away. Meanwhile, back to live television. Zavadil now up to second. Only behind Bacon Zelinka, who's pulled away a little bit. Once again, here is your starting lineup. Once again, McDougall, Zelinka, Knoll, Short, Watson, Thomas, Duval, Begley, and Zavadil doing the worst to first challenge. Let's bring in the track map for you, though I'm not familiar with this place. Though a lot of you are, but if you're not, there is a good look at the track. Sebring. Fast track, not highly technical. Fast, fun. You're on the spring training portion in the back portion of the race course. And then they're now leaving that, coming up toward the airfield portion. And they will be next to the airport and some really long straightaways here. Oh! Not sure. Is that Short? Yeah, Short went ahead and towed. Here it is. See what happened. Maybe we went a little bit too far back. Maybe I did. Again, running the show solo, and a lot of things to look out for. As Zelinka goes purple, Zavadil goes purple that time by. And yeah, I think it just under acceleration, the back end just comes on around. And actually, yeah, he just punches out immediately. Change for the lead up front. If the cameras would change. There it is. Dalton Zavadil has completed the worst to first challenge in less than 5 minutes, getting around Bacon Zelinka. Still a good battle of it right now. Bacon has not driven away. Or excuse me, Dalton has not driven away from Bacon yet. Bacon hanging tough. These two by far and away the fastest. They pulled out to now almost a 6-second lead over Thomas, who's in third. There is Thomas. Thomas is taking advantage of some battles in front of him to help move up. Begley up 4 spots. Remember, he started toward the rear. He is now in 4th. Knoll in 5th. This actually is your closest battle on the racetrack, but actually getting just as close as this battle between Dalton and Zelinka as Zelinka runs him down a little bit down this long straight. him swing out wide, using all that racetrack to make this turn. And it kind of funnels down from a big, wide, sweeping tarmac to now, you know, kind of standard road course with racetrack. So they're on this narrow course now, all the way around back till they reach the beginning of the airport portion again. Thanks for joining us tonight, wherever you are. Hopefully the weather is affecting you kindly. Very cold throughout this portion of the Midwest. Strong storms and tornadoes down south. Hopefully wherever you are safe, or weather is a lot more kind. 22:37 left to play here in the Sebring round of the Porsche Super Series. And much we've seen in the early rounds of this inaugural season championship, Dalton Zavadil is your leader and now starting to pull away by 2.5 seconds over Bacon Zelinka. You have a Z last name, you're running at the top of the order today. And only 9 cars in today's lineup. But we will try to keep our cameras on the closest battle, and that is right here. These 3. This is Begley, Noel, Begley, and Watson. Oh, and that's Begley going off, and he gave up a position, and he's going to give that up to Watson. Move Watson up to 5th, Begley back to 6th. Kind of when you go off on from the airport portion to the road course portion, those roads do get very narrow. Also, you could drop a wheel very easily. That's allowing Noel to kind of run away a little bit. Give you some gap information now, since these battles are so widely spread out. There he is, Noel. He's about 2 seconds from Ryan Thomas, so that battle might develop, and we'll get on it. But most of this battle on the racetrack are right here. Begley's using every inch of the racetrack and then some to reel in James Watson. Davidil purple again. I would not be surprised every single lap he goes purple. A 2:03.7. And 10 minutes have expired. 19:12 left to go. We are on the 3.74 mile, 17 turn road course. And it is a 30-minute timed race. Later tonight, when the IndyCars get on for the main event, it'll be 35 laps, or about 135 miles, or 130 miles of racing. No fast repairs in either instance, either here in the undercard or the main event. And now this battle is under a second as Noel has reached Ryan Thomas. Thomas made up a ton of space, or excuse me, Joel made a ton of space. Joel, Noel, a ton of, Justin Noel, excuse me. He made up a ton of space in that last corner and is pulled up. He is in a position where it might take a move here on the inside going into one. And he's going to stay low. Now we're side by side as it funnels down to the road course section. The spring training session, if you want to call it that. Oh, he almost a little bit of a kiss of the bumper. They set it into 4, 3, 4, and 5. He's not letting them get away. On the straight, leading the 7. And Noel protects the inside. But Ryan Thomas wearing out the back bumper of that Porsche in front of him. This is 10. Now we're going to 11 and Collier. And then the tower turn. The kink known as Bishop. Then we're heading to 15. And then Le Mans section. Now down the Ullman Straight. Oh no. Yeah, that's going to hurt him as that in that battle. Ryan Thomas goes wide, so that's going to allow Noel kind of get about a second lead now. Davidel goes purple again. A 2:03.5. Where we are right at the halfway mark. Oh, Thomas goes wide. And that battle is now settled for the time being. Dan McDougall must have had an off, and he is a lap down. But he is back underway, running at the back of the order. Your running order? Well, we'll go up front here. Here's your leader, Dalton Zavodil, as we've seen in just about every other PSS race we broadcasted here. He attempted the worst to first challenge and got up to first place in less than 5 minutes. Zelenka is second. Zelenka all by himself in second, 8 seconds behind Zavodil. And Justin Noel, 11 seconds behind Zelenka. Ryan Thomas fourth, James Watson fifth, Sean Bagley sixth, Eric Dubois in seventh. I believe it's Dubois. I think I said it right the first time when I introduced him in the lineup a long time ago. There's a Dubois County here in Indiana, I believe, and that's kind of what is making me say that. But I believe he uses the French pronunciation, which is Dubois. Eric in 7th, and McDougall running in 8th. Only one retirement right now is Matthew Short. Matthew probably punching out early and then getting into the IndyCar, which IndyCar practice is underway in the virtual underworld here at Sebring. We will be joined momentarily by my broadcast partner, Phoebe Larkamp. Probably about quarter after the hour, give or take. We are 12 minutes, 45 seconds left running here. 5 minutes till the hour on the East Coast. Tonight's coverage is sponsored by Joey and JSelmants Motorsport Art. Get your own hand-drawn racing artwork of your favorite driver, livery, team, or motorsports moment to hang in your home. To see more of Joey's work or to contact him for your own commission, visit his website or follow him on Instagram or email him today. All of his socials are in the description. We'll have a little bit of a slideshow of a lot of his IndyCar-related art during the intermission. Eclipse cars running in second and third. Here's the closest battle now, Foreman on the racetrack. As Begley has tracked down James Watson here for 5th. Watson, a very diverse racing craft. Porsche Super Cup, jumpy trucks, Indy cars. I think if you name it, he drives it here on the sim. If you do have a favorite driver, shout him out. We'll get him on camera. We got plenty of time, as we are now 2/3 of the way through this thing. Just over 10 minutes left remaining before we wrap this up and move on over to our main event for the Formula Indy Series and the IndyCar race on Sebring for about 130 miles, 35 laps. And Begley has got it under a second. Oh, and that we are seeing rain. Rain is now becoming an issue. I did not notice that until I got to the in-car. I did say wait for it. Wait 5 minutes in Florida and the weather changes. And now we're starting to see a little bit of rooster tail development. Oh. Gonna go wide as James smacks the undertray of his car over some of those curbs. Here we go. Down the Ullman Straight as we're gonna drag this thing out. And there you see the raindrops are now visible on the screen. And Watson holds them off in the 17 as they come back to the main straightaway. They're going to stay out. I don't think anybody is going to necessarily change tires this late in the race with only 8 minutes left. Here's the weather conditions. Partly cloudy, well, I guess. But the track temperature is coming down. We're in a rainbow conditions now. A lot of sunlight, but the rain coming down. Watson going wide there at turn 5. I tell you, when the rain conditions hit on this sim, that is when that allows these video cards, these very expensive video cards that we all have in our systems now, to really, really shine. There we go. Look at those graphics of those individual beads of water on the, and how they streak. Great physics on the window there. Oh, going wide, but brings it back on. Gonna allow a little breathing room for James Watson. 6 minutes remaining, and we are in a wet race right now. Next thing we need to get for these overlays is the ability to pull that weather radar that you can get from the iRacing overlay. I'm not seeing any more rain, though. Very typical pop-up storm for Central Florida. And there goes Watson wide, but he's going to race out of the overrun area. But I think that's going to be it for Begley. Begley gets around him. Let's go back and watch that real quick. I think this is at the end of the straight there with the hotel at the end. Yeah, right out of Big Ben into the hairpin. And James just, it's not stopping for me. He's already got the tires locked up. Let's just take it straight ahead, or kind of. But then get out to that access road where at least you have tarmac underneath you and try to gun it back out. Notice that the cones being an individual object are no longer a thing. Just pass through those now. Oh, no! And Begley around! Got a replay of that. And I think it's still Porsche to this racetrack. They're very wet. Let's see what happens. Doesn't quite get down to the apex of the corner. Comes out wide. And do we dip a wheel? Yes, he does. And he goes to the inside and smacks the wall. A good one. That might be day done. We'll see if he can just bring it home over this next 3 minutes. Noel on pit road. I think he's going to the wet tires. Begley staying out. Davidil, your leader. Just taking it easy now for these next 3.5 minutes. Rain picking back up on this portion of the race course. If you enjoy the coverage of the Porsche Super Series along with the FIS and you respect the stream, please do us solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. Usually got a big next couple of 5 days for us here on the channel. We'll see if we get a white flag this time, possibly. Maybe not. I think we're going to get one more lap after this. Yeah, we're going to get another lap after this. No. Later tonight, actually kicking off right now, 5 minutes in, is our simulcast, our normal, I guess our now regular Wednesday doubleheader simulcast with the Horizon Series going on at Texas. That is on the channel on another feed right now. And then tomorrow is the start of our exclusive, the start of the season for our exclusive NASCAR partner. Okay, we got final lap. As it has been declared final lap by the graphic in the top of the screen there. Our exclusive NASCAR partner kicks off their Grand National season tomorrow night at 8:20. And they follow that up with a Friday night race of their Premier Series, which is their Truck Series. That's the Archway Industrial Truck Series. This is part of the American Motorsports Association, AMA. A little kick of the back end there for Dalton, as he has himself a 16-second lead. So those will kick off on the 13th and 14th. And then we have a doubleheader on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, the championship race for the CIS winter schedule, as they will go to Laguna Seca. And then later that day at 8 p.m. Eastern, the votive Indy Oval Series will kick off at Michigan for round one of their season 2. So we got championship Sunday, opening day Sunday, opening day Thursday, opening day Friday, all this week here on the channel throughout the weekend. Coming into the final stretch down the Ullman Straight, just in turn 17, just going to bring her home and coast it. Dalton Zavadil is going to dominate the day. He tried to make it challenging for himself and, well, got up to the lead in less than 5 minutes. Gets another win here in the PSS. Watching the last of these finishers here. James Watson in 4th there. Brian Thomas 3rd. Justin Knoll in 5th here. Bagley with a damaged car, but gonna soldier on home. Eric Dubois is going to be the last car, I think, to get the... No, actually, we still got Dan McDougall out there. I think he just took Cheers, Eric. All right. I guess they're doing an extra lap, so we were told wrong. Final lap on our graphic. But I don't think it's really going to change the order any. Dalton Zavadil is your winner. Zelinka second, Thomas third, Watson fourth, Noel fifth, Bagley in sixth, Dubois in seventh, McDougall in eighth, and Short in ninth. He's going to burn it down with the rain still coming down. We still got the drone up. All right. Need to reset this, and then we will come on back. Get an interview in here. And Dalton's already there, so we will pull him on up. Hey, Dalton, congratulations on another dominant win. And actually, we for the first time since the opener, had a little rain to kind of spice things up at the end. But I don't think with the lead that you had, it really changed much of the outcome at all for you. You started at the back, and in less than 5 minutes, you were the leader and kind of drove away at this thing yet again.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfair. I mean, we just got done with officials here, and as well as I just won the Apex Racing League at this track, so all in within a week. So had plenty of practice. Now, granted, I didn't have any wet practice, and that caught me a little bit off guard. But just adapted as quickly as I could and figured it out.
Talk about I mean, how many laps have you done here in the last, couple of weeks? It sounds like you've done quite a bit. And the first time it got wet was this particular race. Did you find it any particularly challenging, or just like, hey man, I got such a big league, I'm just going to slow it down a little bit?
I mean, it was a little bit challenging to try and find the wet line a little bit at first, but let's see, how many laps have I done here? I've done 113 laps, it looks like.
I think you know this place a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I know my way around Sebring.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors for yet another win here and the Porsche Super Series here in the FIS. Sure you got some people you want to thank.
Yep, I got to thank the team, Fiercely Forward and P1 Docs, of course, the best road racing setups on iRacing. And then, of course, shout out to the Reptile and Amphibians Conservation Center of the Rockies. So thank you so much for putting on this league, and it's always a good time. Thanks, guys.
Well, we will see how many laps you put in next at Laguna Seca, because that's next on the schedule. We will see you there when we get to the corkscrew. Take care.
Sounds good. See ya. Bye-bye.
All right. And that's Dalton Zavadil, yet another W for him here in the Porsche Super Series here, part of the FIS. And the undercard to open up the night. All right. I do want to remind you before we go into intermission that tonight's coverage is sponsored by JSelmants and JSelmants Motorsport Art. Get your own hand-drawn racing artwork, your favorite driver, livery, team, or motorsports moment to hang in your home. To see more of Joey's work or to contact him for one of your own commissions, if you want to visit his website or you follow him on Instagram, or you can even email him today. All that information is in the description, and you can check him out. And we will bring up the intermission page screen right now. And we will be right back as we reset for the Formula Indy Series Grand Prix, the winter testing Grand Prix of Sebring coming up next. But thanks for joining us. Hold on, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back, right here on P1. Well, welcome back, everyone. Once again, Gary Gatto here, now joined by Stephen Larkamp, hot off his team's crushing Super Bowl defeat to the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs this weekend. Congratulations on that, first of all. But now
we won that one.
It's back on the grind now. As you guys defeated the Chiefs, and a big defeat. Sorry.
Woo!
Yeah, but we're back at it here with round 5 of season 7 of the Formula Indy Series, where we come to the big course at Sebring, where we just saw the Porsche Super Cup cars. Now we're going to throw the Indy cars on here. Now, this is a track that IndyCar normally visits only in the spring training, and they're only using that back portion. They're not using this portion of the racetrack that we're watching right now on screen. They're not using the airport portion. They're using like the infield internal portion for spring training testing. But we get to see in a rare case of in a virtual sense in a fantasy world of IndyCars at full Sebring. And what do you think about today? I mean, we got a huge lineup and a bunch of fast people out there today.
Absolutely. And I personally say it's a shame that IndyCar, in any sort of capacity, whether it be winter testing or an official round if they ever were to race here, I say it's a shame that they've only used the short course, as it were, because the full configuration of Sebring International Raceway is one of my favorite racetracks in the entire world. It's fun, challenging, lots of fast flowing corners, lots of good overtaking opportunities. This track is a fan favorite in almost any kind of car, and kind of always frustrating that the sports car guys get to hog it a lot more in the open wheelers. But of course, it does have some degree of open wheel history. Not only was it a test track for IndyCar competition in the off season, but Formula One used to race here as well. The first running of the United States Grand Prix was held here at Sebring International Raceway in 1959. So there was technically a different sort of configuration. It was a longer track than it is now, but we still have some history of open wheelers here, and it's always fun to drive almost anything around Sebring, and IndyCar is no exception. I've done it before, and I'm pretty sure the vast majority of drivers are relishing the chance.
Well, that rain from the first race is long gone, and the track temperature is skyrocketed to 128 degrees, Stevie. 84 degrees ambient. 54,
welcome to Florida.
54% humidity isn't humid enough for Florida, but that's what the weather conditions are. We'll get those off the screen, but no rain forecasted for this race as we are in the middle of qualifying right now. It is Sherlock, Burrell, Sanders, Papasavas, and Spath, your top 5 provisionally. Let's bring in the points. We'll bring in the points here. We got time. Mm-hmm. And here are the drivers' points coming into this round. Titus Sherlock is your leader by a pretty comfortable margin over Tanner. Caleb is 3rd. Gavin is 4th. And Thomas Raval, the lead amateur, is in the top 5 in the championship. And then it gets really close. Ingrave is 6th, only 3 behind Raval. And actually 6 is a 3-way tie between Kidda, Ingrave, and Watson. And then only 1 point behind them is Mundell. And only 2 points behind Mundell is Zach Flaum. And that is your top 10. So from 10th to 5th, it's only separated by 6 points. But the top 4 are by far and away kind of separating themselves from everybody else right now. That is your Drivers' Championship. Now, here is the Amateur Championship. As mentioned, Raval, your leader, by about 9 points over Kyle Allen. Cody Claiborne in the Fish car is 3rd. Herman 4th. Cook is 5th. Cook not in the lineup today. He says he's out of DCAR. Not an IndyCar, out of DCAR. So he's out of the car tonight. Miglin 6th. Rutherford. We got 2 Rutherfords. We got JR, not Lone Star JR, but Josh Rutherford is 7th. Corey in 8th. Ogden in 9th. And Nick Russell in 10th. That is your amateur points. Your team points. About 3 minutes left to play here. We have Eclipse Competition, their main squad at 203. Over their blue squad at 193. Stowe Maroon at 174. Vision 1 at 139. And TWR Gold at 134. That is your top 5, followed by Gemini, PBR, Melamo. I always have a hard time saying that. I don't know why. Melamo, Dynasty, Melamo Legacy, And then Team Watson Racing, SJ. That is your top 10 team points going into the round.
I'm keeping an eye on...
yeah, that's what you're saying. Who do you see out there? No, who do you see out there?
The main guy I'm keeping an eye on right now is Tanner DeFabus. He is not on the board as of yet. He's on his third lap of 4 that these drivers are allotted for this 10-minute session. And he is going for it now. Right now, Titus Sherlock, his teammate, on provisional pole. The only driver in the 1-minute 40s, a 1-minute 40.975. Very fast. That's actually faster than the overall track record here at Sebring in real life. We're keeping an eye on him, of course. He drove from the back to a podium spot last time out at Misano in Italy. And Wilson, let's see. Coming out of Tower. We do have two fast left-handers and then through these fast S's before coming onto the back straightaway.
You have a couple of drivers that are going to have to serve penalties. I'm trying to find that real quick. Race control, there we go. Moss and Ogden, if they're in the lineups, they'll have to do probably pit road starts. But not a lot of penalties coming out of the last round. Minute 23 left here.
I see Gabe Ogden sitting out of qualifying.
Burrell.
Kevin Burrell to the pole, 40.8. Here comes the famous, big slide coming through Sunset Bend. Will that cost him time? I think it will. Coming to the stripe, 41.4. That will put him P6 as it stands. P7 actually, because Caleb Benzie. Yeah. This is his last shot. Last lap of 4. I don't think he'll be able to make it in time, though. There's only 1 minute left in the session. So, it's going to be a top 10 start, it would seem, for Tanner DeFabus, but not the one that he was looking forward to, because a little bobble there in the final corner. Those bumps there will get you. It's one of the reasons why we call this track C-Bump, because you see them and you feel the bumps here on the old concrete runways of this airfield.
Gavin Sanders still out there turning laps, so I don't think he's going to get back around. Sanders currently in third with 14 seconds left, so I think we're kind of locked into what qualifying is going to bring us right now. 6, 5, 4, and here it gets ready to expire, and qualifying is done.
So Kevin Burrell, very fast driver in IndyCars for a long time, and now takes the pole here at Sebring away from Titus Sherlock.
As we are now going into the 5-minute warm-up period, which is just enough time for us to read the starting lineup. But stand by. We'll bring that up just momentarily.
39 cars on the grid here tonight in Central Florida. This track usually brings out big crowds, both in the stands and on the circuit. Usually the big grids are for the 12 hours of Sebring. But here in the IndyCars, we're no different.
All right, Stevie, go right ahead.
And on the pole, it's Kevin Burrell. First pole of the season, but a very rapid driver. Takes a great run there alongside the last race's winner, Titus Sherlock in the 311. What can he do? Gavin Sanders, another quick one in P3, alongside Evagoras Papasavas, very rapid driver who just has not had his share of luck, usually and pretty much since the opening round at Fuji Speedway. Row 3, Logan Spath and Caleb Benzie. Benzie looking to make up some ground in the championship against the rival starting alongside him and up front. Tanner DeFabus will start 7th, who is on a quick lap as we mentioned, but the last corner really got him. He'll be alongside Sam Carasalo in the 24. Connor Nixon and Hunter Engrab will be rounding out your top 10. And then we go to row 6 will be Matthew Short and Kostek Solowich. Row 7, Kevin Bonomi and Tristan Moss. Row 8, Zach Falm and Matt Schlosser. Row 9, Michael Costello struggled there in qualifying alongside the Fish car, Cody Claiborne. And row number 10, Christopher Hill and Matt Johnson, two usually quick guys who are struggling there in qualifying. Row 11, Sebastian Gianni, another quick one who struggled alongside Tommy Raval. Row number 4, losing
12.
track here all of a sudden.
12.
Row 12, I'm sorry. JJ Wang alongside Dakota DeMade. Row 13, Kyle Mundell alongside Brian Labarge. Row 14, James Watson and Kyle Allen. Row 15, Nick Goyette and JW Miller. Row number 16, Hayden Herman and Dan Miglin. Row 17, Takeshi Kita and Griffin Yellen. Row 18,
Yep. It is 18.
Row 17, I should say. Corey Rutherford and Joshua Rutherford. And then I'm losing track here.
It is a
19,
huge field. It's row 19. Yeah, there you go.
Row 19, Eric Dubois and Michael DeTurk, and shotgun on the field in row 20, Gabe Ogden. And Ogden, I believe you mentioned, does have to serve a start from pit row penalty. And there was another driver we're talking about. I believe you said Hayden Herman was the one that needs to start from pit row.
Moss and Ogden. At least
Moss
that's
and
what
Ogden.
race control says as of 3:15 today.
Okay, and Tristan Moss gridded 14th, so he's going to have to give that up and start from pit road in this race. A free spot for those behind him. Let's see what he could do to get himself back up through the ranks after being sent to the back. But Kevin Burrell, we all know that guy's quick. We've been watching him for years now. Let's see what he could do against these young guns, the Titus Sherlocks and the Evagoras Papasavises of the world. Let's see what he can do.
There's your amateur points leader right there. Sherlock goes ahead and puts a purple lap in practice to let everyone know he's serious. And we're less than a minute away from getting into the gridding portion of the day's race. Again, 3.74 miles, 17-turn road course, 35 laps, 130 race miles, no fast repairs. Unlimited tires, but they must change a tire compound during the race at some point. We
Indeed,
expect, what do we think? At least one stop, probably two, maybe? I'm not the road course expert. I'm going to defer to you, but there's a 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit. What do we think strategy-wise is going on today?
Historically, this track, with that number of laps here, this will likely be a two-stop race, probably a splash and go towards the end of the event or whenever they decide to take it. I believe when last time I raced here, I believe I was able to get around 18 laps out of a stint here. So it's going to be close for a lot of these guys, I think.
We'll see if anyone decides to turn it into a one-stopper.
Definitely something to take in mind. This is a big circuit.
3.74
miles. Not quite as big as Road America, but definitely pretty long here and definitely very fast. So you got to keep an eye on the fuel gauge a little bit. And of course, as always in the Formula Indy Series, standing start. We're waiting on everyone to get themselves on the grid. Sanders and Sherlock already on there. 35 laps on good old C Bump, Sebring International Raceway. This is a race I've been looking forward to since I saw it on the schedule, and we're in for a fun show tonight, folks.
Burrell's not loaded in yet. So far, everybody up front is on reds. First one on whites is Carousala. There's Burrell. So Carousala, Burrell's teammate's going opposite his teammate right now. No, Burrell on whites. He is on. He is on the prime tire. On the prime tire.
The prime tire. Everyone around him is going to be on the softs. Let's see how he holds up. Revs coming up. Green flag flies in Florida. We're racing at Sebring.
Look at that trail of cars behind.
Good start so far. Sherlock covering the inside against Gavin Sanders as they head to turn one. Papasavis trying to sneak by against Sanders as well as they make their way through one. Everyone making through cleanly so far. Oh, one car off. Me and my big mouth trying to see who that was, but one car at least is on. Kevin Bonimi is off from 13th place.
Oh, it is such a mess back there.
Papasavas trying to dive on the inside of Gavin Sanders into the hairpin. Sanders gets the launch off the corner, though. Papasavas not quite enough. Burrell still holding on to the lead against Titus Sherlock on his soft tires. Can he hold on to it? And Papasavas again diving down the inside on Gavin Sanders. Bold move here around the outside now is Papasavas, but he's going to have the inside for Tower. And Sanders trying to cut back as well. He is not taking that one lying down, but Papasavas up into third so far.
That was a full send. That was pretty impressive. That was really impressive.
Belay that. That's Caleb Bensi now up into fifth as Papasavas now still under pressure from Gavin Sanders. He did not like those diving moves so far as they head down the back straightaway. It's still Kevin Burrell holding off Titus Sherlock. Sherlock right up on that rear wing, though. He's going to make the move, it looks like. Yes, he is. Going into sunset. Dives it down the inside. Can Burrell get the cutback on exit?
Oh, he is a bump.
No.
Slides it.
Slides the car. That's not what he wanted to do. Titus Sherlock into the lead of this race. Burrell still holding on to second. And now he's got to hope that Titus burns off his tires and hope the Reds don't hold up very well. Oh, and off back there, that was Logan Spath, I believe, got in the grass, and now he's under pressure from Tanner DeFavis. DeFavis looking to the inside.
Oh,
this is the battle for sixth.
Caught the curb.
He did, and very nearly paid for it. Those curbs do not mess around here. Doesn't quite get by Logan Spath just yet, but Spath losing touch with his teammate Caleb Bensi, who's starting to take the fight to Sanders, and now here comes DeFavis again. Dives it down the inside. These guys are not, the young guns are not playing, they're not playing around here tonight. Tanner DeFavis clears Logan Spath. Spath trying to have a look there, but Kostek Solwich, who's now gotten around Sam Karasala and putting pressure on Spath, he's taking interest in this fight.
A little bit further back, Griffin Yellen coming up through the field. He's up 13 spots, but he has a massive blinking issue right now, and he is giving all sorts of throwing all sorts of difficulty to Kyle Allen, who's right behind him and has to kind of suffer through that blinking. But he's our biggest mover at the moment. He's up 13. So it's so bad. The blinking is really bad, though.
Oh, absolutely, and it's bad for literally everyone around them, not just the driver having the connection issues, but you always are scared. And speaking of connection issues, we have our first DNF. It's Michael DeTurk, who's out of the race with a connection failure. So another one really fast driver already out of the race. And DeTurk, I believe, didn't actually put in a qualifying time. I think he realized he was going to be having these issues, and good to catch it early, but gut-wrenching there for DeTurk. But Titus Sherlock now with a 1-second lead over Burrell. And look who's catching up to the back of that 52. It's Evagoras Papasavas, one of our USF 2000 series stars. That's where these guys have these skill sets from. Evagoras Papasavas races in the USF 2000 series and the road to Indy. Let's see what he's got against a more veteran member of the IndyCar community here on iRacing.
Yeah, right in front of him is the 2024 IIS Series champion, and he just sends it on him.
Oh, man.
That's twice that's twice where he's done that there.
He has just been absolutely ruthless. Looking down the inside there. One bold driving here. 17-year-old from Kirkland, Washington. He is just been on fire. He's been bad fast all season, and he is, like, sadly, it's just not been the luck for him. Some may say it was self-inflicted in some cases, but you can't deny the dude has courage and he has ability, and that just showed it.
Yeah, and he's not racing a slouch. Like I said, Burrell is a 2024 IndyCar iRacing Series champion, so that is the regular... That is the IndyCar Series, official IndyCar. Oh, car sideways, that is Tanner.
Tanner DeFavis loses it off of Sunset. Doesn't hit anything, thankfully. I think he may have just clipped a cone, but he is going to lose a lot of positions. He's down at least to 12th place, maybe 13th.
Yeah, Costello's going to let him slide in front of him. That's his teammate.
Turn and the final corner claims another victim. Even the best can lose it there. It's so easy to do so on all the bumps here.
James Watson,
And
Dakota DeMade for 22nd spot.
Sebastian Gianni, I'll note, up ahead of them. And Gianni was very fast last time out at in Italy last time out there. And seems to have struggled there, started in 21st. And, contact behind them, DeMade! That it wasn't James Watson, that was Griffin Yellen went airborne over Dakota DeMade. And he's got it going again, but damage on that car and damage on Dakota DeMade. That's 2 cars effectively out of this race.
Okay, we're going to watch this full speed, see what happens. Yeah, they are... Okay, so the Eclipse crew has been practicing, and they've noticed that they can send these cars very late into the braking zone, and that's exactly kind of what happened there. Dakota went to turn down, and it looked like Griffin decided that he was going to do the late brake and jumped over Dakota, and unfortunately he's damaged, and Dakota's I think out.
Yeah, it seems like these guys are really confident on the brakes there. And whether or not it was warranted or not, Papa Savas has definitely been very confident. And Yellen now seemed like he had the same confidence. It just was not the right timing, it would seem. And that has cost both him and Dakota DeMade. And meanwhile, looking behind Papa Savas for second. Now Kevin Burrell is under pressure by Gavin Sanders. Burrell, as we mentioned before, is starting this race on the hard tire. Everyone else around him is on softs. Burrell defends to the inside into the hairpin. Not quite enough for Sanders to get by him just yet. But Sanders definitely has the grip advantage as it stands.
Track tip has come down to 108, by the way. But I feel, at least at this point, Kevin made the right decision considering the track temperature. I don't know how long those alternate tires are going to last out.
That's the big question mark for me because it's not the hottest I've ever seen around here. 108 degrees track temp Fahrenheit, but that's definitely getting close to the toasty side there. And I think the soft tires, I can imagine them starting to get to the crossover point in a few laps' time. And it's why I'm seeing Burrell still within about a second or so of Papa Savas up ahead, even with the defense he's having to play against Gavin Sanders and Caleb Bensi. Let's not forget him because he's starting to sneak up into this fray as well.
Yeah, former series champions behind Burrell. So a lot of IndyCar accomplishments on iRacing in the virtual sense between all 3 of these drivers. Former IIS champion leading that group, then Gavin Sanders, the inaugural champion here of the FIS, and then Caleb Bensi, champion 2 seasons ago here in the FIS. So lots of accomplishments for these guys right here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. When do we think first pit stops are going to occur? If we're going to do 2 stops with a splash at the end, are we getting to halfway as close as possible then?
I think that may be the game plan these guys are going to go for. It's going to be very dependent on their tire strategy, I would think. Obviously, with Kevin Burrell, he's going to be going all the way to the end here as we're actually getting into lap traffic with the
Hunter
with the leaders here in this. Hunter Engrav.
He is out. Not sure what happened.
Oh dear! And right now, Burrell not liking this lap car situation. That's the 7 of Griffin Yellen.
Oh, okay.
Having to play a bit of defense for his teammates there, and I'm sure none of them like that. Sanders tried to use him as a pick there, and what was this? Was that Yellen? Not sure what was going on there, but it looks like he was making a diving move there. And yeah, he did. A little bit of blinking issues there for Griffin Yellen as well.
He is
so
that really
has got to. Yeah, that has got to be something that Burrell, Sanders, and Bensi, they probably don't like that situation one bit. As right now, Yellen's now pulling away and pulling off to the side to let Kostek Solwich up into 6th place after starting 12th. One of his best runs of the season so far. Very excellent drive so far by Kostek.
Oh, he's going to slide it through 17!
Slides it through! Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness. Commentators curse, please.
Here we're going to go 3 wide at the line. It is
Logan
Solwich, Spath, and Kurosawa.
Spath looking around the side of Kostek, using that lap car as a pick there, and he does so successfully. Logan Spath gets around Kostek Solwich.
Griffin Yellen involved in that one too. He's a lap down.
Griffin Yellen, he is not really making too many friends out there as Griffin Yellen tonight. But Kostek definitely trying to make up for that error there, and I take full responsibility for the commentator's curse there. But Solwich had a peek to the inside of the hairpin, not quite enough. This is the battle for 6th place. And right there behind them, Sam Kurosawa. Started 8th, currently running 8th. Can he make it one step higher?
And your tire situation, just to review, it's right there on the timing tree that you see the 2 red triangles next to Sherlock and Papasavas. That means they are on the alternate red sidewalled sticky tires that are faster in the short run, but they wear out much quicker in the long run. And then you see just the white outline of a triangle with Burrell. That means he's on the prime tire. That is the I guess the black sidewall tire, just the tire that has white writing on the sidewall. That is the harder tire that lasts a little bit longer. And then we are getting to that point where that crossover will be occurring here. Oh, who is that? That is Griffin Yellen just having a hard time back there.
Oh my goodness. And Yellen once again trying to let lap cars go through. That's Christopher Hill, who's worked his way up 10 spots so far, 19th to 9th, as one would expect from a driver of his caliber.
Zach Flaum, the host with the most, he is out. He is retired. Oh no, he's blinking. Well, he's off. He's off on the grass, so he is going for a tow. He might be done for the day.
Oh dear. And Kyle Allen looks like he's out of the race as well. But Zach Flaum,
Matthew Short, pit road. This is not a scheduled stop. Well, it might be, actually.
Could be, actually.
Maybe, yeah. He might do that.
Lap number 8.
He might do that short stint first.
He's switching to hard tires there. I believe this is a scheduled stop for Matt Short. So we're into the beginning of the pit strategies here.
So there you see Papasavas on push to pass. We'll talk about that here in a second. So the only driver... actually, there's 4 drivers in the top 10. Nixon, Hill, Kurosawa, and Burrell. Both the fiercely forward drivers are on the harder prime tire. Everyone else on the Burrell pit road. Burrell on pit road. I think he's on pit road, or he just dropped out.
A lot of them are blinking right now. Oh no, Burrell. I'm seeing 66 he's dropping out. He's having a connection failure right before our eyes. And you know what makes this gut-wrenching here? He was the fastest car on track right on that last lap. He was running faster than everyone else around him. He was going to catch Papasavas right quick, and then this happens. It's going to show it in a minute, but his connection quality has gone through the floor, and he is going to show.
And he's coming to us from Japan, so it's not like he has a nearby next-door connection. So, unfortunately, and I believe this is a U.S.-hosted race on a U.S.-hosted server on iRacing. So, unfortunately, that is quite, very unfortunate, though, with one of our challengers here today. But up front, it is Sherlock, it is Papasavas, it's now Gavin Sanders 3rd, Benzie 4th, Spath 5th, Solwich is in 6th, Kurosawa 7th, Hill 8th, Nixon 9th, and DeFabis in 10th. That is your top 10, your biggest gainer of the day right now at the moment. Takeshi Kida, back in 18th spot. He's up 15 spots after 9 laps.
Very good start for Takeshi Kida, and next up in line is going to be James Watson.
Who's up
turning
10
laps
himself.
Turning laps in the low 45s right now, 45 even, versus James Watson with a 45.7, and some of the drivers around them going quicker, going slower, it would seem. But Takeshi Kida, way wide there he goes in the hairpin there. God, can we please stop having commentators' curses here tonight, folks? But having a look at some of the fast drivers here, Titus Sherlock and Papasavas running 43.3s. Sanders with a 43.2. Benzie with a 43.7. Sanders a little bit quicker at the moment. Burrell got back in there, but it is like there is no chance of it right now. It's just salvaging whatever you can.
Look at this battle right behind Spath. We got a train. It's Spath at a little bit of a gap Then it's Solwedge, Carousala, and Hill. And it's Carousala just sends it to the inside.
Sends it down the inside at Sunset Bend there on the hard tire there. We're definitely got to the crossover point there where the soft tire is really starting to fall off at this point, but Solwedge still taking the fight to him, and so is Christopher Hill. Hill's also starting this race on the hard tire. Had a peak there in turn 1. Not the best opportunity in this instance. And Hill realized it quickly. He backed off, of course. But this battle's looking pretty good so far. And making their way into the hairpin there. A couple of guys weaving a little squeamish under braking there, but Solwedge seems to be in the less enviable position, as it were, there. Not only with guys to worry about in front and behind, but also on the tires are starting to give Solwedge. Big slide job by Solwedge, lets Hill by, but good save. And down to 8th he goes. I'm sure he's going to be thinking right now, get me off this tire as soon as my strategy will allow it.
Christopher Hill, 3 career wins in the FIS. Multiple seasons he's been with us. But he is around, and now Hill up 12 spots to 7th. But we're watching Solwedge. See if he maybe comes to pit road here, coming to lap 11.
And we were talking about Sam Carousala earlier. He's already gone up on the gearbox of Logan Spath for 5th place.
And sends it to the inside. Wow!
Yeah. Yes, he does.
Same spot almost in the last lap. He just sends it right there into the sweeper at 17. And he is done. He pulls away. And, and then Spath now, pit road, scheduled stop on lap 11.
Scheduled stop here. So the leaders are still staying out at this point. And looking at lap times there, Carousala is running pretty even with some of the guys that are fighting up ahead. He's actually a little bit quicker, in fact, than some of the leaders right now. He's faster than Sherlock, faster than Papasavas, faster than Sanders and Bensi. So these black tires really starting to come into their own about midway through a fuel stint here. So they're definitely going to be the preferred ones for many of these drivers. And I think after a few laps or so, I can imagine Sherlock and Papasavas.
Sanders blinking.
Uh-oh. Many, more connection issues tonight.
There are weather. There's weather going on. Well, Gavin's up in Canada. I'm not sure what the weather is up there, but there is weather going through the Midwest and down south.
I mean, it snowed around where I live around Philadelphia last night, and I don't think he got much of anything, actually. Most of it was concentrated around Washington, D.C. and Virginia, actually. But still, regardless of that, he's still got a Caleb Bensi to worry about more than the weather right behind him in his mirrors. Bensi a little bit quicker on that last lap there, and he is trying to make as much of an opportunity as he can here. Get away from Carousala and get by Sanders. What will their strategies determine? They're both coming in. Both Sanders and Bensi are on pit road. Sherlock and Papasavas stay out.
Yeah, there might be a little team crosstalk there that they're working on the same strategy. That's going to allow everyone else on the racetrack to get a position on these guys. We'll see what they decide to go to. Sherlock's still a leader. He is due to come to pit road anytime, we suspect. He might be trying to do this in one. We'll see. To get to one, 35.
It'd have to be like 17 or 18.
Divide 2, 17 and a half. So that's another 5 laps. That is an awful big ask.
That is a big ask at this point, especially with as big a circuit as we have to deal with here at Sebring. It's kind of the Road America case where it's really hard to squeeze that one extra lap out of it. Maybe you could pull it off, but that's a big maybe.
Well, yeah, and watching a battle here now between Matt Johnston and Tanner DeFavis. Johnson getting around him. But yeah, this is one of those tracks you don't want to miscalculate that fuel run and then run out of fuel on the far side of the race course, because you're not going to coast back around.
Absolutely not. And we've seen that a few times in a lot of other leagues, a lot of other series, a lot of other cars. You make that one tiny error and you go a little bit longer than you could. SOL, my friend. It is SOL for you.
these Eclipse drivers, I've noticed that when they get up on you, they get up on you. They are up in your attenuator. When they get up on you, they are in your attenuator, and you're probably looking in your mirror expecting that hit, and it's not getting there. And I'm sure that is getting the drivers that has an Eclipse driver behind them probably worked up a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely got some confidence in where they're placing their car and how much they're
leader pit road.
How much their input. Oh, yep. And DeFavis now coming in there, but they definitely got a lot of confidence underneath them with these cars, especially at a track like here at Sebring, where braking can really gain you a lot. Like being very confident on the brakes, especially at places like the hairpin and through Tower. It's really like having a lot of confidence there is going to do them good. It's also going to intimidate people. The Darrell Waltrip effect, I like to call it.
Yeah, they're not doing anything dirty. You're just getting on your head. There's nothing wrong with that. That's racing right there. Well, Kurosawa now picking up the lead. He started with the prime tire. Along with him is Christopher Hill. He started with the prime tire as well. Caustic Soul Edge, he is not pitted yet, but he is on the long run on those alternates, and we have seen him use and abuse those, so they are probably screaming to get off that Fury-sponsored Dallara IR18 right now. Connor Nixon, he has moved up to 4th. Matt Johnson now in 5th. Reval, our amateur points leader, is now 6th, and he is also our lead amateur in the race right now, best in class. JJ Wang 7th, Gianni 8th. And Titus Sherlock and Papa Savas rejoin in 9th and 10th. In fact, everybody in front of Sherlock, who is in 9th, has not come to pit road yet.
Yeah, and this is pretty much confirming to a lot of us that the fuel strategy will be a 2-stopper for many of these guys. Keeping an eye on Kurosawa when he comes in. Lap 14, like we said, we got to get to 18 laps to make it 1, but I severely doubt it at this stage. But considering the strategy that these guys have here, it's obviously going to be 2 full stints on the hard tire and a short sprint on the softs for a lot of these guys there. That's going to be
pit road.
Kostek Solwich coming down pit road as
Tommy
well.
Reval, JJ Wang. They're both on pit road.
And out Solwich goes. Way out wide there. Stay clear of any traffic. A trick and something you always got to be mindful of, especially in endurance racing. In a mixed class environment like you have here at the 12 Hours of Sebring. Yeah, that's... you gotta be very careful with how you exit the pits.
We are kind of in mixed class here. We do have a pro class and an amateur class. Pro class is 2,000 I rating and higher. The amateur class under 2,000. It's a very modest pro and amateur rating. But the amateurs putting on a pretty decent show, showing that they can hang. Kurosawa now making the run down the Ullman Straight. Let's see if he decides to make that turn on the pit road this time. I think he is.
See?
I think he is. No, he is not.
He's not.
I heard him drop a gear, and I thought he was going to go to pit road, and nope, he's like, I'm going to run this thing dry. So him and Christopher Hill on the same strategy. Connor Nixon also in the same neighborhood. I think he's going to go on that same strategy. Matt Johnston, I think he's seeing, well, nope, Johnson coming to pit road right now. I was thinking maybe he was seeing the guys in front of him. He's like, well, if they can do it, I can do it. But he's going to come up a lap short, at least compared to the 3 in front of him.
Yeah, let's see as he brings that machine onto pit road. The 04 up on the jacks he goes. What does he change on to? It's still going to be hard, so this is going to be his second long stint of the race, and then going to the soft tire for a final sprint at the end.
He's going to do some Red Bull laps at the end.
Oh, yes, he will.
Light tanks and red tires.
Kurosawa and Hill looking to do that even more so. They're going to have fewer laps to do it for sure, but... And that's when I'm also thinking of Matt Johnson as well, because it's not like having the red tire is an instant death sentence for your stint. No, you're going to be the fastest driver on track for a few laps. And how many laps is that going to last as Hill goes way wide through the S's and coming through Le Mans onto the Ullman Straight? Very big bobble there by Christopher Hill. That's cost him some time. And right ahead of him is a lap car. That's the 555 of Corey Rutherford. That has definitely not done him too many favors in his battle with Sam Carasala. And this time around, Carasala is coming onto pit road, and so is Hill.
Yep.
And keeping an eye on Nixon. I think he's going to do the same. Yes, he is. So 15 was the hard end of how much fuel you could squeeze out of this car. 15 laps. Carasala up on the jacks. And Carasala switching to reds on this stint. This is going to be his fast run. Not so for Christopher Hill. He's sticking on blacks and again going for fast laps towards the end. Connor Nixon still sticking with the hard tire as well, and down and away he goes.
Carasala comes out 5th.
And hand the lead once again back to Titus Sherlock.
And we're in an immediate battle when Hill comes out for 6th. Right with him is Logan Spath.
Keeping an eye on this one. Spath looking to get by him here. Spath's on hot tires.
Yep. Slightly warmer, older, more baked in, so to speak, tire. But I think Hill might be able to hold him off. Yep.
Yeah, I think Hill's going to have the grip from here on out and get that fast time ahead of him. He's going to have a lot of grip underneath him at the start of this race. Of course, the main benefit being that these tires hold up very well towards the end of the stint compared to the softs.
Well, Kyle Mundell has not stopped, and he is sporting a little damage on the front of his car in 18th. He is a one-winged angel out there, so he needs to come to pit road at some point for service, and then he will be able to get that wing front nose replaced. But Kita gets around him and moved Takeshi Kita to 17th position, up 16 spots. Now, he's going to be kicking himself a little bit. If he could just got maybe a slightly better quali run, he'd be threatening now really for the top 10 instead of threatening to crack the top 15.
He probably would be, yeah. And Takeshi Kita just recently came off of pit road, was in the top 10 for that brief moment, but gotta be a bit frustrated. And in fact, during the cycle of pit stops there, he was putting up a little bit of a fight with Caleb Benzie as Benzie tried to get by him on fresh rubber. And let's see, as everyone cycles through, pit stops pretty much over this point except for Kyle Mundell. Mundell still staying out though. One reason I could probably attribute to the longevity of this stint so far for Mundell has been the pace he's been running. It hasn't been the quickest run there. The front wing damage probably has a lot to do with it, if I'm being honest. Running in the 47s, whereas the leaders are running in the 43s. So that probably has saved a good bit of fuel as well. So, one car way off there.
He's actually going to be able to do it because we're at lap 17, and he has now crossed the start-finish line. He's heading down to the hairpin, and all he needs to go 17 and a half, so he could pit next time. And if he can actually do the same pace on another stint, he's going to do one stop. Now, how far is he going to end up in the order, or is he going to get a lot of positions out of this? We don't know. Or is he just going to have our awe and we'll be like, hey, what an accomplishment, he's the only driver that pulled off the one stopper.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question mark, especially with the pace differential compared to a lot of the drivers. And one thing that also doesn't help too, he's going to have to wait 5 seconds longer than everyone else there because he's got to get that front wing changed. And looking at this battle now for fourth, Carasala on the charge. Caleb Benzie trying to hold him off there, but Carasala's got the fresh red tires there. These are his Red Bull laps, and he clears Caleb Benzie for fourth place. Last time around, I'll note his quickest lap, 141.7. nearly over a full second faster than the current race leaders.
Hey, let me get the station ID in real quick if you're just joining us. This is coverage of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from Sebring International Raceway for the JSelmants Winter Testing Grand Prix of Sebring, where we've completed now 18 of 35 scheduled laps. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Big week for the channel. We have 3 leagues starting between Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, plus a championship race also on Sunday. So if you want to check those out, ring the bell. You'll be notified when we go live. Big week here on P1. Also, we got the word in this week officially that we will be covering practice and qualifications for the Hoosier 500, the PRI Hoosier 500, in December. That's the former Open Wheels, and that's going to be right here on P1 broadcasting in December. And you might see a lot of these drivers that are in this lineup attempting to make that Hoosier 500 one of the more prestigious organized Indy 500s, virtual Indy 500s anywhere on the internet. That will be in December right here on P1. Check us out.
That'll definitely be exciting for sure, and we got a lot of I guess we got a lot of build up for that one, especially with the strength of the IndyCar community in terms of talent there. That's always going to be great to watch, and we're having a good show of it here tonight too. As Sam Carasala on those fast red tires, he is catching Gavin Sanders now for third, hand over fist.
Oof.
How quick can he possibly get by him here?
Out the back of Gavin's car, looking over the attenuator.
Sam has been very quick. About a second faster he was versus Gavin Sanders on the last lap. A 42.4 versus a 43.4 for Gavin. Gavin, of course, on the hard tire. It'll come back better towards the end of this stint here, but Carasala seems to be at the game plan. Run a few fast laps on these reds, duck into the pits, put the hards on for the end of the race.
New camera angle. I want to thank Julian Altena, the Velocity Online Racing League, for supplying this one. Kind of the old school ABC camera we saw in 93, 94 on the side of Robbie Gordon's car when he was battling Raul Boisel down the main straight at Indianapolis when they interlocked tires. Very reminiscent of this angle right here. We're riding along on the rear suspension of Sam Carasala.
And you can definitely see the bumps there at Sebring. That makes Sebring such a feared track here for many drivers. Feared and enjoyed by so many. And in fact, so much so that an endurance racer would say that the 12 hours of Sebring is a more physically demanding event than the 24 hours of Le Mans, simply because of the track itself and how much it jostles the car around and jostles you around in the process.
I believe it. I do believe it, yeah. There's a lot of time you could rest at Le Mans with those straights, right? But here you don't have it, and you're getting a constant beating as Carasala says hello to your living room.
Confidence on the brakes is not in short supply for these guys tonight. Sam Carasala got very close to that rear attenuator on Sanders. He's having a peek down the inside. Not quite enough to get up alongside him yet.
That's in that eclipse zone that they learned where they could late break everyone right there. Maybe Sam picked something up. And I know probably Gavin did. He's like, I'm not getting past again there.
Oh, no, he's not. Sanders has learned that one, especially after his fight with Papasavas as early on in this race. Gap now the leaders is 3.8 seconds, Sherlock versus Papasavas. And this battle is occurring 7 seconds in arrears of the race leaders.
He's not going on the button. He's just staying right in the draft.
Yeah, not quite on the button yet.
Send it?
Send it here in Sunset Bend. Yes, he is.
Big bumps,
He's
big
gonna
bumps.
have the
big bumps, and he does it. Oh, wow, what a pass.
Does it here. Sanders is going to have the run down the front straightaway. Can he get him around the outside? Carry that momentum into turn one. Carasala holds him off so far as they get around a lap car.
That's Rutherford getting out of the way. Very nice of him.
And Carasala up into third place. Sanders up on the curbs trying to hold on to him. But I think Sanders also in part knows that he's going to get that position back.
Yeah, he's going to get another
soon.
chance. Yeah, he's going to get another chance with those the prime tires versus the red alternates on Carousel. Very well, very good point. Very good point.
Yeah, especially since Sanders could very well put the Reds back on and go for some more Red Bull laps at the end of this race and return the favor with Carousel, because it's pretty evident to me, unless Carousel suddenly discovers Scott Dixon Zen mode on his tires, that is going to be
That's more
very
the gas
hard.
tank, though, with Scott Dixon.
That's true. That's true. Unless he can like baby the tires like really like no one's ever done before. I'm not sure Carousel is going to be wanting to go with red tires as the final stint in this race.
JJ Wang, Tommy Raval, battle for 13th, closest battle on the racetrack.
And Tommy Raval, the leader in our amateur division.
No
tonight.
surprise there. He's been kind of dominating the amateur division the entire season.
Very well done so far, and got JJ Wang to contend with right now as they make their way through the S's and through Le Mans curve. Wang, both these drivers running on the soft tires on this stint.
Raval on push to pass. There you see on the tree, if you see their name light up next to, right there, it's like Papa Savas, push to pass. That means they're on the button. Let's give you a push to pass report, by the way. We have not really talked much about what remains for these drivers. You start with 200 seconds, and that's actually 200 seconds that you get. That's a full-length real-world IndyCar race, which we are not quite hitting here in the FIS. They give you 200 seconds in a full-length IndyCar race. So you have a lot more push to pass to use here in the FIS than you have in the normal IndyCar series, because you have shorter races. But there you see Sherlock with 187 seconds remaining. Papa Savas, he's down to 57. And he needs to start conserving some of that, because we are getting in the late stages here, and he might need that to run down Sherlock. Carousel hasn't even touched the button, which makes you wonder, is the button mapped? No, I think the button is mapped. I think he's really saving fuel, and every time you push that button, that does guzzle a little bit more fuel than normal. So Carousel with 200. Does. Sanders with 110, Bincy with 140. There's everybody else in the lineup down the list.
And that's definitely a big factor you got to consider here at a track as big as Sebring. We were talking about fuel mileage for quite a bit here. That's something you got to be very careful of, is the push to pass there. You can get a little bit of speed and make the pass, but at what cost?
Wang not letting Raval go at all. Is he going to be on the button this time? Raval on the button. Wang's not going to be on the button. Actually, Wang is just going to stay right behind in the draft of Raval and allow Raval to push the button and pull Wang right along.
Indeed. Like, don't need to push the pass when you have the slipstream, apparently, for JJ Wang. Stays right in the wheel tracks there of Tommy Raval. Goes way wide there, up on that sort of quasi-banked exit of the final corner there, and gets way up close to the gearbox there through turn one. JJ Wang, Raval may be using the button there, but it's not really helping him pull away from Wang all that much, and I'm wondering if Wang even realizes that's the case.
It is push to defend, not push to pass, which is perfectly legal.
This is true. It's totally something you could do there.
13 to go up front. Titus Sherlock is our leader by 4.2 seconds over Evagoras Papa Savas, who is in second. There he is. And then that battle for third continues to rage on, as now those red tires are starting to go off, those alternate tires, just a little bit on Carousel after 7 laps. And now you see Sanders getting a little bit closer on the prime tires. This is back for a battle between third and fourth.
And it's getting to be a bit closer now. I'm looking at they were pretty even last time around, was Carousel and Sanders. And now, again, fairly even with each other. So we're getting close to that crossover point that Carousala is starting to lose pace relative to Gavin Sanders, Caleb Bensi, and the like. So this is around the point where if I'm Carousala, it's around the point where if I'm Carousala, I'm thinking I want to come into the pit soon, especially since we're getting close to 10 to go.
He's with Josh Rutherford, JR. Oh, he gets around JR. JR just stays to the inside. Oh, a car off in front of him. That is Zach Flaum. I think he's just having a bit of a rough day. Guy finished on the podium at Texas. Just having a rough day here on the road course, down on 23rd here at Sebring. Papasavas gets around Rutherford. Now, next up for Rutherford to get past is by Carousala and Gavin Sanders, who will continue in that battle. In fact, that is really the closest major battle on the racetrack. The next closest battle still is that battle between Raval and Wang. Well, that's really about it. There has been quite a bit of attrition. We started with 39 cars. We have 25 still running. We have 21 on the lead lap.
Yeah, and this track was always going to be relatively unforgiving. I wouldn't say as bad as a track like Bathurst, but this one was always going to be one where mistakes are punished and punished severely, whether it be losing positions or spinning out or hitting the wall.
Oh, Carousala way wide, and Gavin gets on by him.
Oh, Carousala's not going to like that when he was sent way wide there by that lap car and moved Gavin Sanders back up into third.
You knew something was wrong. I'm sorry. I could hear something was wrong in the feed because you just hear a different tone on his engine. He's like, you could almost, it's almost like that uh-oh tone. It was like, oh, yeah. I got to get down. I got to get turned here. And he was on the brakes and off the throttle. And that just opened the door for Sanders to go on by, and now starting to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And Sanders probably wanted that opportunity more than anyone else, obviously, not just because he's on the better tire situation at the moment. And looking at how much time we have left in this race, I wouldn't be surprised if Carousala stays out a couple more laps and puts on more reds at the end of this race and pulls some more Red Bull laps out at the moment, because we're getting to the point where it really isn't worth it to go back on to hards at the end of this race. They were preferred for the long run, but with a couple of short to mid-range runs, I think the softs are going to be what Carousala goes back on there. So it's going to be a battle likely of the two red tire runners at the end of this race. And Caleb Bensi is running faster than both of them, I'll point out. Yep,
when watching him, I got the camera on him real quick. Here is the Season 7 schedule for the Formula Indy Series. Let's get the track map off there so you guys can see it without that. There you go. So next up after Sebring is Laguna Seca. Then our second oval of the season. First short oval of the series history at Milwaukee for 150 laps. Then Sachsenring, Spa, VIR, Nashville. And then we're going to end in April at Road, Atlanta. And everybody's on pit road. Let's get this image off and watch these stops. Here we go.
Sanders, Carousala, and Bensi. That's third, fourth, and fifth coming onto pit road. Carousala, Sanders, Bensi all making it into their boxes. Up on the jacks they go. What do they put on? Once again, reds for Carousala, reds for Sanders, reds for Bensi.
Oh,
these are going to be the money laps.
These are going to be some burner laps. Let's watch these.
And Sanders.
And poor Matt Johnston, who's up 14 spots, is now the head of the snake, and he's like, I didn't volunteer to be head of the snake.
Yeah. Right now, Matt Johnston probably has a certain Simpsons meme in the back of his head.
I'm in danger. There you go.
And indeed, he is. Gavin Sanders already right up on the gearbox of him right now, and Carousala is going to be looking for any open door here as Sanders looking to what's going to be the outside here, and I think Johnston realizes that right quick, and here comes Carousala deep on the brake, so that's 2 spots already gone there for Matt Johnston in about the time it takes to say it.
And Johnson has 11 lap old tires, so his tires are very well worn compared to these brand spanking new alternates that are on all three of these combatants around him. So he's trying to give it his all, but the guys around him is just going to have more pace than he is because of the stickier compound.
Leaders are in, both the Eclipse cars, Sherlock and Papasavas. A little bit of a lockup there coming on the pit road there for Titus Sherlock, but gets it down well. Papasavas right behind him. All, of course, going on the Reds. Down and away, Titus Sherlock, the class of the field so far tonight. We were expecting it to be a great battle between him and Kevin Burrell, but Burrell's connection failure quickly put pain to that. And Titus Sherlock once again showing the raw strength he's been having throughout this season so far. It's been 2 wins already this season, 1 at Bathurst and 1 at Misano last time out. Can we get an actual three-peat, one that is not stopped by a brick wall named the Philadelphia Eagles tonight?
Hey, real quick, let's pay some bills. Tonight's coverage was sponsored by JSelmants Motorsport Art. Get your own hand-drawn racing artwork of your favorite driver, favorite livery, favorite team, or your favorite motorsports moment to hang in your home. To see more of Joey's artwork or to contact him for your own commission, visit his website, follow him on Instagram, or email him today. You can find all of his socials in the description. Joey Selmants, JSelmants Motorsports Art, proud sponsor here of the Winter Testing Grand Prix of Sebring.
The gap last time around was about 5 seconds between Sherlock and Papasavas, as now we're working our way through some lap cars.
Well, we got some cars that definitely haven't stopped yet, that we think they're going to stop. Christopher Hill, who went 15 his last stint. He is now 12 into his current one, so we do expect him to come to pit road. Connor Nixon in the same boat, and here is a pass for position with Titus on the inside, getting the pass. Connor lets him go.
Titus Sherlock once again. I get the feeling this is going to be one of his fastest laps of the race here. Getting very aggressive with that curbing here. That's one of the more, one of the trickier ones. You hit it right, good. If you hit it wrong, you're spinning, buddy. And this track, so fun, but so unforgiving. I think that's what makes it fun.
Solwedge, last stop, he's done. He comes back out at 11th. So he might actually, with stops in front of him, he might crack the top 10 here for this race. So that's a good run for him.
Very well.
And he kind of started around the 10th position, so he is currently up 1 spot from where he finished. He's looking to maybe improve if there's stops in front of him. But Christopher Hill, we do expect to be one of those. We do expect Connor Nixon to be one of those. We expect Matt Johnston in 8th to be one of those that stops. That might just be it that's going to stop in front of Kosick Selwig. We'll see what happens if Selwig can get into the top 10. Meanwhile, up front, it is Christopher Hill, 3-time former winner here in the FIS, your leader. Expecting to come to pit road about any time now. Right behind him is who will be our presumed race leader when Christopher Hill comes to pit road, Titus Sherlock, looking for another win this season and to pad his championship lead.
Yeah, and Christopher Hill staying out at least one more lap here, and the same with Nixon. Titus Sherlock did get around him up into second place, as was mentioned.
There it is, 128 or 140.9 for 128.3 miles per hour. Titus Sherlock not playing any games with the light tank and the new tires.
Absolutely not. And for reference, the pole time by Kevin Burrell was a 140.857. And to put that even more into context, the overall lap record here at Sebring, 141.8, set by Kamui Kobayashi in the 2019 1,000 miles of Sebring in a Toyota TS050 prototype. So these guys are running faster than Le Mans prototype cars right now. And it just makes me say, why don't we have these cars at this track in real life for something that's not a testing session?
They're doing it without the hybrids either, which can probably get a little bit faster.
This is true. I would agree there. I think they can definitely get a lot more and get some more pace out of it. So you could see sub 140s perhaps if these things were to take to the circuit in a more competitive capacity. And speaking of which, to compare to a open wheel series that actually did race here. Ooh, hello. And some issues there with a lap car.
That was
there
Eric. He's clear, though. He is clear. He's just, right now, at this point, Eric is like, this is drive to survive time. We're 7 laps from the end. He just probably wants to see that checkered flag and get some lap times logged.
Indeed, and been looking at some lap records here at Sebring, and the fastest open wheel category lap that I've seen on this circuit, a 1:55.9 set by John Edwards in Formula Atlantic back in 2009. So,
those are way underpowered cars compared to these. So yeah,
it's basically the equivalent of the Indy Pro Series at this point, or the Indy Lights if you want to be. I'd probably put the Indy Lights category more comparison, if I'm honest. And also, fun little thing here. Who here remembers the LMPC category, Le Mans Prototype Challenge in the Grand Am series? A lot of people derided it as it was a spec series, the same car, an Orica chassis with a Chevy engine. And it was kind of derided as the category that people with more money than skill drove and would race alongside an actual professional driver who actually knew what they were doing. But in that category, the fastest lap set by a car there, and by a car here in that category, 154.5, was Pato O'Ward in the 2017 12 Hours of Sebring.
Never heard of him. Pato who? Never heard of him.
Pato O'Who?
That is Sherlock. Now our standalone leader. His final pit stops have occurred for Christopher Hill and Connor Nixon. Solwedge has moved up 1 spot. He is now in that 10th spot now, looking at a top 10 finish for Solwedge. But now Titus Sherlock is your leader. It's 6 to go. Coming to 5 to go, looking for another win. Papa Sava's second. Gavin Sanders is in third. Kurosawa fourth, and Caleb Bency fifth. But that battle between Sanders and Kurosawa just has not really settled at all.
Not abated. Not in the slightest. Kurosawa is really chomping at the bit to get by him here. Sanders seems to have a bit of a gap at the moment, but with 5 laps to go, Kurosawa's still got a lot of time to either force an error or just straight up outdrive one of the most skilled, experienced, and determined drivers you'll meet in the IndyCar community, that being Gavin Sanders.
Yep, inaugural season champion. He's second in series history in wins, I believe.
As Christopher Hill was coming off a pit row on that last one, he's in 8th place right now, and right now he's got Logan Spath and Tanner DeFabis that he is going to have fresh rubber up against. So let's see what Hill can do in this battle, the 3-car battle effectively for 6th place coming to the checkers.
Kurosawa getting closer.
He is, you're right. Kurosawa picking it up. We got 4.5 laps left here to run in Central Florida.
Just to review the season so far, we started off at Fuji. Tanner got the win there. And then at Mount Panorama, Titus broke through, got his first career win. Gavin Sanders got the big dub in a close race on the oval at Texas. And then the last race we were at in Italy, Titus got win number 2 there. He's staring at number 3 squarely in the face with about 4 laps to go.
And honestly, it really has been a show in that all these young drivers here, your Sherlock, Papasavas, and as I was looking at, Kurosawa had a peak there on the inside of the final corner. It's been a popular overtaking spot all night. But these drivers here, particularly the ones from the USF 2000 ranks, your Sherlocks, your Papasavases, and your DeFavises, they have been absolutely electrifying throughout this season. They have been incredibly strong, and they have been taking proper fights to some of the veterans, and it's great to see it all mixing.
DeFavis and Hill, this is a battle for 6, going into 1. Hill on the outside, send it, watch, it's going to filter, it's going to, it's going to, it just gets so narrow there, it just filters on down into a little funnel area there.
It definitely does, it just gets so narrow. It's one of the reasons why you got to be so careful on pit exit here, but Christopher Hill pushed into the dirt there, fighting with Tanner DeFabis. This is for 6th.
Look at this, all the clag offline. Wow.
Yeah, like there's so much of it. It's amazing that like you see it at the end of the 12 hours, like how much it gets. It's even shown just even a 1 hour race is putting up a lot of David Hobbs clag out there.
I love the new debris patch, the add-on that they put in one of the latest updates. It makes the racing even more realistic here. Now you can't just go on offline and expect the car to stick. We're watching them. They're going. DeFabis gets a little squirrely coming off the corner.
Little squeamish there coming out of Tower. Hill is going to look to the inside there. Will be forced outside here for the S's, but Hill is right alongside him.
Wow! He's going to have to yield.
He's going to have to slow down from that. Yes, he is. He's got a rolled up black flag. He's going to have to let that one go. Can Hill get back up there? Can he get that one cleared?
I don't think
doesn't look like he's backing up as he's trying to do so through sunset.
The exact same thing I was thinking. Is like, didn't look like he slowed down too much.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's backing up that much. He is now, I think. And he's kind of feathering it, I think, there. But Hill has just got to be frustrated, I think, more than anything else.
We still got time.
And he's cleared it. He has cleared the flag and stayed within spitting distance of that 9 machine of Tanner DeFabis in this fight for 6th place. Logan Spath seems to have gotten himself back into the fight too.
Yeah, Logan's there, but Sam is still on the back. He has permanently put himself in the attenuator gearbox of Gavin Sanders' car this entire second half of this race.
He's made it his Florida vacation home. Oh man,
we should definitely ask Sanders though in the interview how his back feels, because Carousala's been on it all day.
Yeah, he's just been all over his rear so far. Carasala, he is going to have to, like, we're getting close to 2 laps to go here. The leaders are going to be coming down the back straightaway to. Oh, hello.
Not a good combination of corners there for Gavin, and that's allowing Carousala to get closer, and they're not push the pass. I wonder
not
why.
On the button yet. Carasala's got the toe, though. He's going to have the slipstream coming into Sunset Bend.
Go outside.
Sanders defends to the inside. Way walk.
Snow.
He's going to lose a ton of momentum there against Sanders. Not what he wanted in the slightest. Sam Carasala losing a lot of track position there. Still within distance, obviously. He is going to have to dump the button for all it is worth.
Oh, contact! Connor Nixon, Logan Spath at 17. Send Nixon to the wall.
No. Nixon backing up there. Front wing is gone on that 0-2 machine. But late race contact between him and Logan Spath. Spath still continues, but he has no front wing either.
Let's see what happens. And actually, he's going to get the draft to Hill. Hill goes down and lends the draft to Connor. Then he comes up, lends it to Spath. And here it is. We will watch the contact going into 17. As we are late in the race and passing is becoming more and more difficult. And Connor, I think, hits a bump. Hits a bump right here. Yeah. And then right up into Logan. And that's a shame, because both those guys have driven their hearts out all day. Coming to the white flag, Titus Sherlock going down the Ullman Straight. He's just a turn away from seeing the white flag in one more circuit around Sebring International for his 3rd win of the season and the pad that point championship. Evan Goris Papasavas. I think this is his best finish of the year, looking toward his best finish of the year. He is probably going to come home second. But this battle between Sanders and Carasala has got back closer.
He has caught back up, it would seem. Can be one last attempt. 17 more turns. Can Carasala make one of them count more than any other?
Push to pass situation. Here it is.
He's got to.
Carasala might not be able to get to the button. I mean, he still has 200 seconds. Sanders is down to 5.
Oh, he is. And a little bit of a twitch there for Carasala coming out of that left-hander. Through the sweeper onto the hairpin. Not quite close enough yet.
Oh, out of the hairpin. Not a good release for Sanders. Carousala there.
No, that wasn't a particularly good one there for Sanders. He has got to make something happen here, even with
no about moving up to 10th.
There for Carousala, actually. Through Tower for the final time. Can Carousala close up in the final couple of corners? But Titus Sherlock through Le Mans for the last time. Turn 16. Ullman straight. It feels good on this one. You did all you can, and you did all you needed to do. Titus Sherlock, third win of the season. One more corner towards it. And off we go, and Titus Sherlock, 3 wins on the season. He takes the win at Sebring. Papasavas will come through in second, and Sanders looks like he will hold off Sam Carousala, who put up a dogged fight with no push-to-pass button mapped, I would seem. Sanders third, Carousala in fourth, Caleb Bensi rounds out your top 5 tonight.
Oh, look at this battle. Caustic Soul Wedge coming down the Ullman straight. He's trying to put the block on Hill. Hill's missing part of the front wing. They're going to send it.
Oh my goodness, Soul Wedge way out wide there. Hill, he has damage on the front wing, but he doesn't care. He's going to get 6th place against Caustic Soul Wedge.
Logan Spath.
2008 in the 12 out.
What a great run to the end. And Logan Spath bringing home and nursing home a very damaged car. He's going to come home 8th. Matt Johnston in the 04. He's coming home 9th, a top 10 for him, up 11 spots. And Tommy Raval, he's going to hold off J.J. Wang and be the lead amateur and the only amateur in the top 10 to extend his championship lead. That's your top 10.
That is, and one driver who in fact, Carousala said right there in chat to Gavin Sanders, I wish I had my push-to-pass button bound.
Oh, he didn't do. I was wondering about that. I was figuring he was so close, but I'm thinking to myself, that last stop, he should have had enough of everything to just to spam the button if he wanted to.
Yeah, like that was the thing I was starting to suspect there, especially since even if you're saving fuel, you want to push the button a little bit if you want to make a pass happen. And I'm sure Carousala would have wanted to do that, but that's kind of a rough case of live and learn there. It's a good result, but could have been a podium with that being mapped on his car.
Well, and that's a more common mistake than you realize. I mean, now you know that, and I'm just letting people at home know that's just not. Yeah. That's not a Sam problem. I mean, that's a common problem that we have sometimes, where you just go from an oval race where you don't need to have that button map, and you might only have certain buttons on your steering wheel, and sometimes, you can't. Sometimes you forget to map it, and that's what happens.
I think actually we missed a bit of drama, in fact, on the second to last lap. Tanner DeFabis and Matt Johnston. We noticed Johnston had a broken wing there. It was Tanner DeFabis fighting out with Johnston. Not Matt Johnston, Christopher Hill, I should say. Christopher Hill had a broken front wing. That was from contact and a scrap there with Tanner DeFabis, and that's why DeFabis was out of the race at the end of it.
All right, let's get in today's final stats here. Sherlock, win number 3 of the season. Papasavas, best finish of the season, comes home second. Gavin Sanders, another podium, hanging on to that top 4 battle. He comes home third. Carousala, I believe this is Sam's best finish in the series, and I expect to see more of him in the top 5s. He just has that level of talent. He comes home fourth. Caleb Bensi, very quiet race today. We didn't really talk about him much. I'm sorry, folks in Stowe. I know you're all watching. We got him on camera a couple times, but just got up to 5th, hung around 5th, and that was kind of it for him. Then it really was able to get forward. I think he was kind of watching Gavin's back a little bit at some point, but he never really, got up there and mixed things up for the win. But a top 5 is still a top 5, and a top 5 in this league is a very good top 5. Christopher Hill comes home 6th, and he was slugging it out, and his car is showing the battle scars afterwards. Good race for him. Soul Edge, he had himself a good race. That definitely last turn, last lap battle with Christopher Hill, something to remember. Solwich finishes 7th. Spath bringing home a damaged car in 8th. Matt Johnson in 9th. And Tommy Raval, lead amateur, in 10th. JJ Wang again. Very, very quiet, very consistent race for Wang. He's just getting on the border of these top 10 finishes all the time. Going to help him in the points championship. 11th. Costello 12th. Matthew Short, good run for him, 13th. Bonimi 14th. James Watson 15th. Kidda, Mundell, Labarge, Rutherford, DeFabus, your top 21 there. And I think Josh Rutherford, JR there, is the second highest ranked amateur. So it's going to help him in the championship there with amateurs. And then we got Corey, and we got 2 and 21st for some reason. I'm not sure why. We'll consider these unofficial. Connor Nixon, 22nd. Dubois in the 23rd. Flaum, 24th. Schlosser with the correct livery on his car, 25th. Goyette, Ogden, Claiborne, Gianni, Miglin, your top 30. And Griffin yelling with the day that he wants to forget in 31st. Same thing with Kevin Burrell, 32nd. Miller, 33rd. Herman, is 34th. Ingrave, DeMade, Moss, Allen, the Turk, top 39. And that is your 39-car field. Stand by. We'll get the last interviews in here.
Yep, I see all 3 of them there ready for us.
Just need to queue up some replays. With a field this big, sometimes it takes a while to read all that stuff. We just need to queue up some replays here real quick, starting with Gavin Sanders, and then we will bring him in, start talking to Gavin. We'll let the jokes flow. We know what we're going to talk to him about. He might know now if he's listening to us.
Yep.
Just one more real quick here, and then we will... Here we go. All right, there we go. And let's bring in... There we go. And let's get out of the B-roll. And we're back. All right. Got down some of these overlays. Got so much stuff running here. Normally, this should be really like a 3 or 4 man job, but it's just the 2 of us doing it. That's to show you the level of semi-pro that we're at.
Yeah.
All right. And there is Gavin. We'll bring him up. And here is Gavin Sanders, maybe saved by the grace of Sam not mapping push to pass to his wheel. But how does your back feel for having Sam Carasala on it basically the entire second half of this race?
Yeah, right. That was something towards the end. I mostly was just trying to stay on the track, more so than anything else. And then anytime Sam got near me or we had any lap traffic to deal with, he kind of ended up in the marbles somehow in 17. So it was too bad that he didn't have his push to pass mapped. Otherwise, he'd be seconds up the road from me. But I guess it works out for me tonight. So I guess things happen, and that's definitely happened to me before. So
yeah, we were saying in the post race just before we got you, is that someone you're like, yeah, is that something that doesn't happen? It happens to everybody at one point, and it doesn't have to be the push to pass button. It could be you're driving the IR05 or the DW12 on an oval and you forget the map to tearaway button. We don't have to worry about that here in the with the aero screen era.
Road speed limiter button.
Or that. Yeah, I've seen that happen before too. So it happens all the time, and it's no big deal. But Stevie, any questions for Gavin on his big P3 here today?
Yeah, there was overall that battle. There was pretty much a 3-car battle for third place throughout much of that race there. But you look at some of the guys like Sherlock and Papasavas pulling away up there. Obviously, Kevin Burrell was probably going to be pretty quick during this race, but a connection failure did him in. The big thing I have here is these young guys. They're really starting to make their name for themselves out here. What do you think? I'm sure you've got some things in mind for the future rounds, taking the fight to them.
Yeah, I think overall, from one lap speed, they're very quick, and then they can manage their tires well. I think for me, over the course of the season, I obviously missed a round and then got absolutely obliterated in another round. So just from a points perspective, dealing with that is whatever at this point, and I will take talking to you guys as much as I can. That's that is about the only goal I really have. So normally I typically on iRacing anyway, and most of the series I've been running in, it's a matter of average finish and running all the laps and making sure that I get the most out of every single night, but versus just getting one good lap and running away with it. I end up taking the consistency route, I find. So no complaints. Obviously they're doing quite well. So
Always good to do that in my book.
right.
Well, we've actually had a before on a league I used to broadcast, a guy that says, as long as I'm talking to you every race, I know I'm doing good. So that is I think that's a very savvy, solid approach, Gavin. I think you should continue doing that. But the points are in real quick before you give your shout outs. It is Titus Sherlock now with a 1 race edge lead over Caleb Bency, 54 points over Caleb, who is second. Caleb moved up to second over Tanner, who didn't have the greatest race today. Tanner is now in third. Gavin is, you are now tied with Tanner. No, actually you're not. You are right behind Tanner in fourth, 12 points behind Tanner. Tanner is 12 points behind Bency. So kind of evenly spaced out there. So you're fourth in the championship, 22 ahead of Evan Papasavas, who has moved to fifth. So not too bad. You maintain pace. You didn't lose anything, but you didn't gain anything. And we're off to Laguna Seca, a place that I know that you have lots of experience at. So shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. I know you got to feel good.
Yeah, thanks to everybody watching, obviously, and to you guys for putting on an epic show. And big thanks to Team Melamo Esports. Obviously, big thanks to Matthew Short, for my teammate, for coming out every week and trying to get the job done the best we can, pick up all those points. And big thank you to Sunset Arctic Games.
There we go. I knew it was coming.
Echo Blade on Steam. Echo Blade on Steam.
Echo Blade, yep.
Echo Blade on Steam. Yep. And that's about it.
All right, we'll catch you in a week at Laguna Seca. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
And he is out of the channel. Boom. He is off to go celebrate. Let's get on the next car in order. Evagoras Papasavas. And we will bring him up. This is the first time we get a chance to talk with him. First time we get a chance to talk with Evagoras Papasavas as he gets on the podium for, I believe this is your best finish of the season. Congratulations on that. Great start. You managed to make up 2 spots right off the beginning, raced your way up in the second. Never could quite run down Titus, but I don't know if that was the plan. But certainly a solid run today after a season that started with a lot of frustration for you. Congratulations. Talk about your day.
Yeah, thank you so much, first of all. But yeah, no, so I felt really confident coming into the race in the first place, having a lot of experience at Sebring, both in real life and on the simulator. So yeah, going into Sebring, I felt really confident. In practice, I was able to put a good few laps together, get comfortable with the setup. Went P1 in practice, had a solid qualifying result, P4. And from there, my teammate starting second, I believe, or pole, one of the two. But it was really try to just get up to him and kind of follow him around. Possibly, the goal is to get a 1-2, and thankfully we were able to get that done. But yeah, so it was all really about those first few laps starting on the red tires to really make the most of the extra grip I have on the red tires, make those aggressive moves, get myself up into the second position. And, from there on, it was smooth cruising, just hitting my marks, focusing forward. And yeah, pretty smooth race from there.
Go ahead, Stevie.
Yeah, and we noticed at the start of the race, like, how could we not, that you and your teammates definitely seem to be very confident, particularly on the brakes here, and you seem to be the epitome of that tonight. The king of the late breakers in some of the fights you were in, and obviously we've known, particularly since, like you said, raced at this track in real life, and that's always a high watermark for a lot of drivers. Sebring, obviously, a track most people enjoy. But this is but this is definitely one of the best results so far in a season that seemed to have been really frustrating the first few rounds there. I gotta say this has probably been a big confidence boost for the rest of the season going forward.
Oh, for sure, 100%. Before, with the other tracks, I didn't have much experience at those tracks, even on the simulator. So I was kind of just going into it and just learning every lap. And this is my first time competing in a series like this on iRacing. So it was a lot to learn with, how the process goes, and how to deal with certain situations. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, that we're racing at Sebring. I'm confident at this track already, so I knew that this was going to be a good race for me. And yeah, like you said, I feel like this is a very big confidence boost, and I'm feeling ready to attack the rest of the season. Keep getting these podium results, see what we can do in the championship, the drivers' championship, and also the team championship as well.
Absolutely, and since I got the chance, because you have raced at this track in real life, and the prospect of this track one day being on the IndyCar calendar, would you say yay or nay?
I for sure would say yes.
Sure doesn't
This
mind.
track, this track in IndyCars, it's a really fun combo. It's a really fast combo. The car feels great, around Sebring, and racing around Sebring is great. With the big hard braking zones and then the long straightaways, it really comes together for a lot of good racing. So I think if IndyCar would come here to Sebring, that would be a really big event.
Yeah,
And I
points
think all
race
the
would be
drivers
cool.
will enjoy it.
Yeah, points race
Oh,
would be
yeah.
definitely cool. More than just spring training, but yeah, points race. Well, congrats, man. It's good to finally see you here. Or first, just finally get you in the booth, and great to see you here on the podium. First of the year, first of probably many. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say hi to my family that, could be watching right now, maybe. Um, yeah, just say hi to my family, sitting upstairs, watching the race broadcast. And yeah, my teammates, Eclipse competition, my teammates and friends. So yeah, just want to thank the team, my teammates for guiding me. Like I said, this is my first time doing a series like this in iRacing, and they've been a lot of big help for me. So just really thankful for them. So yeah.
Well, these interviews will get easier once you get up here more often, and we suspect you probably will. So, thanking those teammates is the wise thing, and definitely the family. Well, congratulations. We'll catch you at Laguna Seca next, a track that you might have also experience at in real life. But until then, enjoy the P2 today.
Yep. Thank you so much.
All right, and let's bring up Titus Sherlock, who really kind of had a dominant day again. And here he is, Titus Sherlock, a dominant day up front. I think you just about led them all. Not quite all of them, but about led them all. Had a great start. Had a good opening battle there with Kevin, the general. And but unfortunately, his internet gave out. He is in Japan. And kind of left you up there by yourself, and then kind of knowing the race. So now you just race the racetrack and maintain pace. Keep your teammates, good distance behind you, but within sight still, and kind of ran away with this from everybody else. Big race for you, third win of the season. Congratulations, padding your points lead. Talk about your race.
Yeah, it went as good as it could have. Unfortunately, missed the pole a little bit, but got the lead on lap 1 and just tried to, do consistent laps and get a gap. And yeah, it went pretty well from there, so I'm happy with it.
Go ahead, Stevie.
Yeah, it was seemed like smooth sailing again, and this is third win on the season. And we all knew that that the drivers like you who have real world experience, we knew you were going to be pretty quick, and it's been showing so far. And your teammate, Ivagoras, seemed to have a pretty good night as well. But Kevin Burrell, one of the veterans of the series, definitely seemed to put on notice that, hey, we got some fast, like, we still got some, the old timers have still got some fast and got some pace in them too. I get the feeling that some of these guys are starting to wise up a little bit, maybe could probably figure out a few things. I'm sure you got some counters for it going forward.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, the more competition you have, the more fun it is. So it was really fun, battling him on the first lap. And yeah, Evagoras had a great race. He's been fast the whole season. Just hasn't really had the luck, or
Oh,
something
absolutely.
happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got a good result there. And Tanner was doing pretty well as well, but I think something happened to him in the last lap or two. So yeah, good race for the team, and hopefully, if people keep stepping up to get closer to us, we can keep stepping away a little bit more, and we can keep winning, hopefully.
Well, the points are out, and you have a 54-point lead over Caleb Bensi, who's now in second. So that's a full race. You could miss a race and still more than likely be the leader at the end of that race. So a little bit of a cushion now as we get to Laguna Seca in the second half of the season here, starting here soon. But before we even start talking about potential championships or anything, we'll talk about that when we get into the second half of the season. I'm sure that, nice race padded lead here is good for the soul, and I'm sure that makes you real happy to give some shout outs. So anybody you want to say hi to, fans, family, sponsors, teammates, anyone you want to say hi to shout out wise?
Yeah, as always, everyone on the Eclipse team, everyone that puts in the work doing testing and practicing, and it's always fun with them. We obviously take our racing seriously, but we have fun at the same time. We were joking around with each other most of that race and just having fun. So thanks to all of them, and obviously all of our sponsors that are on the car are mainly our real life sponsors. So of course, thank you to Mosaic, ProGuard, Rain on the side, Destination Athlete as well. So everyone that supports our drivers, thank you.
Well, congratulations. Winner by 7, almost 8 seconds tonight for his third win of the season, Titus Sherlock. Points leader going into the next round at Laguna Seca. Congratulations. We'll catch you in the next one.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Stevie, long night, but we got another one done in the books. A good competitive race and a very good, very entertaining racetrack that a lot of these drivers like. Now we move to a racetrack that I don't know if you could say every driver likes it. In fact, it's one of my least favorite IndyCar road courses because it's really hard. It's narrow. Turn 6 is next to impossible. And then the corkscrew. Laguna Seca is and it's also, not to put a black eye on the history of the FIS, but it's probably site of the biggest start wreck that we've ever seen in the history of the FIS with the standing start. But that goes way back to like season 1 or 2 where they were still learning things. But it is not one of my favorite racetracks, but it looks good on camera, and I love calling races there, but I don't like driving there. What do you think these guys have looking forward to, or if anything, looking forward to Laguna Seca coming up next after really just this nice, wide open for the most part, sweeping corners, long straights, no elevation changes race course here at Sebring?
Yeah, I definitely think you'd be in the minority when it comes to like whether you like or dislike Laguna Seca, because Laguna, like, I will grant it's hard to make passes there, but it is a fun track to drive on for me. It's where I got one of my first wins on the iRacing service over a decade ago. Man, I'm getting old. Yeah, like it's always been a fun one. It's like the narrowness definitely can make overtakes difficult, but it's a fun track to drive, and I think a lot of these guys are going to be relishing the here. And mistakes, like you thought mistakes would be punished hard at Sebring, which they did. It's going to be even more so when we head out to Monterey next week. I always loved it. I loved it when IndyCar came back to Laguna Seca after so many years, a few seasons ago. And it's always great to race it in an IndyCar in the virtual world too. I think a lot of these guys are going to be relishing the chance going down the corkscrew, because that corner is always fun to me. I don't care what people say.
And another thing, if you're a gamer into the gaming world and you've been paying attention to some of the leaked maps of the upcoming Grand Theft Auto 6 video games. I believe, if any of those maps hold true, there is going to be a facsimile of Sebring in that game, or at least on the map somewhere. So something to look forward to if you're a Grand Theft Auto fan, is a possible facsimile of Sebring. I don't know what they're going to call it, Florida Raceway, something like that. But in the video game world, we got plenty of opportunities to get onto the track here at Sebring. So that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Sebring International Raceway for the JSelmants Winter Testing Grand Prix of Sebring is, well, we get Titus Sherlock getting his third win of the season. Evagoras Papasalis gets his first podium of the season, and Gavin Sanders gets another podium of the season. That's your top three as we are headed off to the West Coast for our next race. And again, you can join us next week for round 5 of the Porsche Super Series and round 6 of the Formula Indy Series Championships. We head back to wine country and the corkscrew at Laguna Seca for the Laguna Seca Grand Prix. I'm surprised we're not calling it the Grand Prix of Monterey, but that might be changed. We'll see. Coverage begins with the PSS support race around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, immediately followed by the 125-mile IndyCar race. Remember, for the correct broadcast time in your area, make sure you check out YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting for the correct time. So now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know what you thought of tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of P1's other iRacing programming, including to kick off our exclusive NASCAR partner, the American Motorsports Association, featuring their Black Magic Studios Grand National Series on Thursday nights and their signature Archway Industrial Truck Series on Friday nights. It's only here on P1. Action starts both nights at 8:20 p.m. You won't want to miss it. Today's coverage was sponsored by JSelmants Motorsports Art. Get your own hand-drawn racing artwork of your favorite driver, livery, team, or motorsports moment to hang in your home or maybe next to your rig. To see more of Joey's work or to contact him for your own commission, follow him on Instagram. The link is in the description. You can also email him from a link there as well. Everything you need right in the description. Track cams for this race provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook, follow them on X and Instagram. Links are all in the description. For business inquiries to learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram or X, or you can follow all of our socials on Linktree. The link for them is in the description. So for Stevie Larkamp, who's still sky high over his champion Eagles winning, getting everyone else here at the FIS and P1, I'm Gary Gotso, the voice of the FIS, saying good night. Thanks for watching, and all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders. Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here next week in Laguna Seca for the next race of the Formula Indy Series on P1. Good night.